Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, where history, rarity, and hidden value collide in the smallest pieces of metal you might be overlooking right now. Today's episode is packed with excitement, mystery, and serious collector intrigue, because we're diving into two Lincoln pennies that could be sitting quietly in circulation or hiding in your collection, waiting to surprise you. These aren't just ordinary 1-cent coins. We're talking about dates that spark debate, coins that carry historical fingerprints, and varieties that have sent collectors scrambling and prices climbing. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. 1986 D. Lincoln Penny 1-cent coin. The 1986 D. Lincoln Penny might not sound like a headline-grabbing rarity at first glance, but don't let that fool you. Beneath its seemingly common appearance lies a fascinating story of transition, subtle variation, and the kind of collector curiosity that can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable discovery. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin represents a period in U.S. coinage where billions of pennies were produced annually. Yet hidden within that massive production are pieces that stand out for their condition, composition quirks, and striking characteristics. To understand the 1986 D. penny, we need to place it in its historical setting. By 1986, the United States Mint had fully transitioned from the traditional 95% copper composition used for decades to a zinc-based core with a thin copper plating. This change had been implemented in 1982 due to rising copper prices, and by the mid-1980s, it had become the standard. The 1986 D. penny, therefore, is a product of this modern era of coinage, lighter in weight and more prone to certain types of wear and damage compared to its older copper counterparts. The obverse design features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of his birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's profile faces right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1986 to the right. The D. mint mark, indicating the Denver Mint, appears just below the date. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959, with United States of America and E pluribus unum framing the structure, and 1 cent boldly displayed at the bottom. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. The mintage of the 1986 D. penny was enormous, over 4.4 billion coins produced. That kind of volume typically means low value for most circulated examples. You'll find these coins in pocket change, jars, and rolls across the country. In worn condition, they're worth exactly what they say on the face, 1 cent. But collectors aren't chasing average coins, they're chasing the exceptional. One of the key factors that drives value in the 1986 D. penny is condition. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS 67 or higher, are surprisingly scarce. The zinc core and copper plating combination tends to show contact marks, spotting, and deterioration more readily than solid copper coins. As a result, finding a perfectly preserved 1986 D. penny with strong luster, minimal marks, and sharp details is much more difficult than the mintage numbers might suggest. In fact, certified examples in MS 67 condition have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, and coins approaching MS 68 can reach even higher values due to their rarity. These are coins that have likely been preserved carefully since the moment they were struck, never entering circulation, and maintained in pristine condition. Another area of collector interest lies in potential errors and varieties. While the 1986 D. penny is not widely known for major double dies like some earlier dates, there are still minor double die varieties, die cracks, and striking anomalies that can add value. Collectors often search for signs of doubling in the lettering, particularly in Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as unusual die breaks or off-center strikes. One particularly intriguing aspect is the presence of transitional planchet errors. Although rare, there have been reports of pennies from the mid-1980s struck on incorrect planchets, such as those intended for other denominations. These error coins can command significant premiums, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. Additionally, the 1986 D. penny can exhibit issues related to its copper plating. Because the copper layer is extremely thin, it can peel, bubble, or split over time, revealing the zinc core beneath. While this is generally considered damage and not desirable for collectors, certain dramatic examples, especially those caused during the minting process rather than post-mint damage, can still attract attention. Market value for the 1986 D penny varies widely depending on condition and uniqueness. Circulated examples are essentially face value. Uncirculated coins in typical mint state might sell for a few cents to $1. But once you move into the upper grades, MS 66, MS 67, and beyond, the price increases sharply. Top-graded examples, especially those certified by major grading services, can sell for several $100s or more. Collector interest in the 1986 D penny continues to grow, particularly among those building high-grade Lincoln cent sets. The challenge of finding a near-perfect example from such a high mintage year adds an element of excitement. It's not just about rarity in numbers, it's about rarity in condition. So the next time you come across a 1986 D penny, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. Check the surfaces, the luster, the sharpness of the strike. Because hidden among billions of ordinary coins could be one that stands out, and that's where the real value lies. 1969 D Lincoln penny 1 cent coin. Now we move to a coin that carries a very different kind of intrigue. The 1969 D Lincoln penny. This is a coin that often gets overshadowed by its more famous counterpart, the 1969 S double die penny, one of the most celebrated error coins in American numismatics. But the 1969 D penny has its own story to tell, and it's one that deserves attention, especially for collectors who know where to look. The year 1969 was a significant time in American history. It was the year of the Apollo 11 moon landing, a moment that captured the imagination of the world. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins to meet the demands of a growing economy. The Denver Mint alone struck over 4 billion Lincoln pennies that year, making the 1969 D one of the most common coins in terms of sheer numbers. Like other pennies of the era, the 1969 D is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a solid, heavier feel compared to modern zinc pennies. The obverse features the classic Lincoln portrait, while the reverse displays the Lincoln memorial design. At first glance, there's nothing particularly unusual about this coin, but as always in numismatics, the details matter. One of the main reasons collectors pay attention to the 1969 D penny is the possibility of confusion with the rare 1969 S double die. The 1969 S version shows dramatic doubling in the inscriptions, particularly in Liberty and In God We Trust, and can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Because of this, collectors often examine 1969 pennies closely, including those from Denver, in hopes of finding something unusual. While the 1969 D does not have a widely recognized major double die variety like the San Francisco version, there are still minor varieties and errors that can add value. These include machine doubling, die cracks, and off-center strikes. While these are generally less valuable than true double dies, they can still be collectible, especially in higher grades. Condition once again plays a major role in determining value. Because these coins were heavily circulated, finding high-grade examples with strong luster and minimal marks can be challenging. Coins graded MS 66 or higher are significantly more valuable than average uncirculated pieces. In top condition, a 1969 D penny can sell for hundreds of dollars, particularly if it has exceptional eye appeal. Another factor that adds interest is the quality of the strike. Some 1969 D pennies show weak details in the Lincoln memorial on the reverse, while others are sharply struck with clear lines and definition. Collectors often seek out the best struck examples, as these are less common and more visually appealing. There's also the possibility of off-metal errors, where a penny is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. These are extremely rare but highly valuable when they occur. A 1969 D penny struck on a dime planchet, for example, would be a major discovery and could command a significant price at auction. Market value for the 1969 D penny ranges from face value in circulated condition to several dollars for typical uncirculated examples. High-grade coins, especially those certified by grading services, can reach into the hundreds. Error coins and unusual varieties can exceed that by a wide margin, depending on their uniqueness and condition. Collector interest in the 1969 D penny is fueled by its connection to the famous 1969 S double die and the broader appeal of Lincoln cents from the 1960s. For many collectors, it's a coin that invites careful examination and offers the possibility, however small, of an exciting discovery. In the world of numismatics, sometimes it's not just about what a coin is, but what it could be. And that's exactly what makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny so compelling. It's a reminder that even among billions of coins, there's always the chance of finding something extraordinary. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep your eyes open, because the next valuable coin might already be in your hands.